Hey guys, it's Katie at scrappinkaty.ctmh.com, and I am bringing you day 8 of scrap timber and 30 days of sketches.
So for day 8, for the 30 days of sketches, we have this sketch, and then for the scrap timber prompt, it's something that I've been hoarding. So I prefer to call it collecting, but my husband definitely has a different view of that. So I am going to be scrapbooking a photo of me starting the process of cataloging all my stamps. So here's a photo of me in my craft room floor. You can see I've just got tons of stamps around me, and then I've got my computer where I've started to catalog that. And I will be sharing that process and what I do probably maybe the end of this month. I'm really not sure. I've got the 31 days of Christmas cards coming in October, so depending on how busy September is, I may try to do it in October or November. But if you're interested in that, stay tuned because I will be sharing that process. And then I've also pulled out from my stash. This is an older paper collection. It's called Craft On. So it's just got a lot of bright colors, which I love. You know, I've got this bright pink shirt, and then I've got my kind of aqua Yeti right here. So I thought that that would be perfect with the colors in this collection. And then, like I said, I just have a bunch of scraps of this. So we're going to see which papers play along. I'm really not sure what I'm going to use for this element over here. It may be paper strips just to kind of make it go fast and easy. Like I said, I'm really not sure. So bear with me on that. Hopefully this process video goes pretty quickly. Hopefully I can show you a thing or two. And then of course, you'll want to stick around to the end of the video just to see how it turns out, and then also check all the links down below for all the other girls who are playing along with Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches and Laura's Scrap Timber. So let me clear off my space and then we can get started. So these patterns I just really love. That one is super cute with all the crafty things. Of course, I love diagonal stripes. The floral is really bold. Of course, I love black, and then with that lemonade and then polka dots and gingham. I just love all the things. Now I already have one of these sheets that's cut apart, so hopefully you don't have to watch too much fussy cutting in case I decide to use some of those little aspects. And I will be building this on a white daisy cardstock base, and so I know that's going to go there. I do already have some pre-cut pieces there, and then there were a couple of these little cards. This is back before we actually did pocket cards or PML cards. So I like that, or ooh, I like My Life. There's just so many options. Oops. There's just so many options for this layout. I kind of don't want to hide my computer though. Okay, and then of course I have all of these. Most of them are zip strips, but some of them are just larger strips. So I may use that right there. Okay, so I think I'm going to try, before I do the strips, I'm really liking this pattern paper because it says do what makes you happy, made with love, live a creative life. Just everything that my stamps stand for to me. And so I'm going to try just kind of a blocky aspect over here, maybe layered. And so I'm going to cut this down. I'm guessing 11 by 6. And then I have some of this other pattern paper. That I can make just a little bit larger. Let's do 3 inches. Longer, I meant. And then 11.5. Again, just totally guessing. We'll see how this looks. And then I can build on that. Of course, add some paint splatter. Okay. So I think I'm digging that for right now. So let's take all this stuff off. Okay, so I've got all this moved out. Now, maybe for the first time in the history of forever, I will add my paint splatters before I get too far. Because you know I have a history of wanting to do that at the last minute. And then I get it everywhere. And then it doesn't dry. You guys know. So I'm going to use my black shimmer brush. Just so there'll be some shimmer on this layout as well. Okay, so there are several methods in adding splatter. My favorite method is just squeezing some onto a block, and that way you can just get it really wet, and then just getting something hard and splattering it. Again, there are lots and lots of different methods for this, and I feel like sometimes if you do it too much, then you can see the direction of the dots, if that makes sense. So this is usually where I mess things up. I get it everywhere. But so I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. I need to clean up a little bit, but other than that, I kept it pretty controlled. And then if I needed other spaces, I can either fill in with one of my stamp sets, or I can just save this off to the side and we can fill in. Okay, I am going to start gluing this down. Actually, I think I want a little piece of this. Instead of using the whole piece, I'm just gonna cut a piece. Okay, so let's do it a different way. So let's just go ahead and glue this down. And like I said, you can't really see those paint splatters. I may add some later, or you'll just see those over there. Okay, so now I can I'll just do it that way. I just want a touch of the yellow showing because I am going to use some yellow flowers. I'm going to use one of those little 3x4 cards. It's got some yellow, so I definitely need some yellow in other places. And then now I want to make sure my words are up correctly. Now I can add that. And then here's where I'm thinking that I can add some of these zip strips along the bottom. Like definitely those hearts. I'm really liking that dark pink. And then of course I love black and white gingham. So I may do that. Let's go ahead and get this photo mounted. So I prefer to mount my photos on white first, and then usually a color or a couple of colors depending on what the layout calls for. And you know, I always have photo placeholders that I like to use, or in this case, because this is such an odd size, let me leave that out. Since this is such an odd size, it was just better to cut white daisy cardstock instead of try to use a photo mat. So I think I'm going to go with the yellow again. It's just so happy. No, I may regret that here in a little bit, but for right now, the yellow is going to be second mat. And then I've got these. So I think I like that, so I'm just going to start gluing them down to each other, and then we'll worry. How did I have that? We'll worry about really securing them later. And then let's glue this one down. I used to love these cut aparts that Close to My Heart had, but I didn't like that, you know, on the back side is the stuff you cut apart, and on the other side was this pretty pattern paper. So I always had an internal struggle with whether I wanted to use the pretty pattern paper or if I wanted to use the cut apart places. So I'm just going to add some 3D foam tape to the back of that one, and then we can start working on our strips. So I hope while I'm doing this, just thought I would chat. I hope you guys are enjoying the 30 days of September. I've gotten quite a few questions on where all the sketches can be found, and so there's a link in my description that actually has Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches Facebook group, and you can go join, and then she has all the sketches posted, and then in each sketch, if you want to play along, you just add your sketch, your take on the sketch. So we love looking at those, seeing what you guys can pull from the sketch, much like, you know, when we do it, because we all pull something different, and that's what I love about sketches, is, you know, someone can see something totally different than what I see, and that makes it so fun, in my opinion. And we did one of these in March, and I just loved finishing the 30 days, and I had 30 layouts to put in the kids' albums, and that was just super fun for me. So when I saw that she was having another one, it was a no-brainer that I wanted to join. And then there's also a playlist. She has a playlist linked on that Facebook group. Look, I smell. Oh no, I didn't. A playlist, and even because I link all the stuff down below, all the links to the other girls, Christy's channel is linked down below. And so she even has, probably in her description, she has taken the time to add everyone's video to a playlist. So if you're the kind of person who likes to just put on these YouTube videos and just watch one right after another, you know, maybe when you're folding laundry or doing whatever, she has that all ready, and you could just start playing that playlist, and then just watching them as you go, watching them as you do your everyday activities. You know what, I think I'm going to take that up and add 3D foam tape to it. Got to create some sort of dimension down here, and then I think I'm going to dovetail this end to match the other end. And then as far as my title, I think I'm going to use Stamp Collector. Again, because, you know, we all know what collector actually is code for, especially when it comes to paper crafting, in my opinion, or really anything anybody has a passion for. You know, I realize that hoarding truly is a disease, but if you have a passion for something, as long as it just doesn't become detrimental to your health, you know, I say, why not? Why can't you own 200 stamp sets? That's not how much I own. I'm just saying. I haven't actually counted them. But, you know, as long as it's not detrimental to my health and it brings me joy, then who's to say that I cannot, quote unquote, collect them? Right? Am I right? Am I right? Okay, so done that. I think I want the arrow. You can see my cut job. I cannot cut with scissors to save my life. That's why you see me grabbing my paper trimmer all the time. Okay. I think actually I may come up here with this. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. It needs something. Okay. So let's work on the embellishments and the title. So I've got some fussy cutting to do. I'm going to do that off camera, and then probably go ahead and stamp my title off camera too. Okay, so I have fussy cut out some flowers. I mainly wanted to hide these chairs, and then just kind of create some little clusters. So I have these flowers, and then I have this one. This one was pretty hard to cut out, and so I don't want to cut out another one. I'm being lazy. So I think I'm going to use it two places just by trimming it there, and only me and you and YouTube will know, right? And that way I can have it both places. And then I'm gonna do this, but I just don't like the blunt edges, so I think I'm gonna tear it kind of like washi tape. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that put down. One less thing I have to change my mind about. And then I'm gonna go ahead and glue these down. No, I really don't want the green on the green, if you know what I mean. Tuck that in there. I am going to add 3D foam squares. I mean 3D foam circles.
So for the embellishing part, I'm going to speed it up just a little bit, but still be able to show you and kind of talk you through what I'm doing here. So I am just adding all of these flower elements. Some will be added with just regular tape adhesive, and then some will be added with 3D foam tape, just to kind of add some more dimension. I'm going to go ahead and stick this one down. If I do have anything that I want to tuck underneath it, I still have it up on foam tape, so I'm not that worried about it. This larger flower, I am going to use those large 3D foam circles. It just makes it really simple to add a circle to the center of that flower and then get it adhered down. So now I'm going to work on my title. I'm going to pull out a brand new alphabet stamp. It's called the Daisy alphabet, and I absolutely love it. It is really, I think I mentioned this in another video. We have this stamp set and another one that I love because the cross I don't know what you call it, but like in an A, the cross bar that goes in the A and the E and the H's and all of that, they're really low. And I took a class several years ago about kind of finding your handwriting and making it your own. And in that class, I learned that I love low crossbars, either really, really low or really, really high. I don't like those crossbars to be in the center of the alphabet. And so this Daisy alphabet, as well as another one, they have that aspect to them. So I have just lined up the word stamps onto my grid ruler. Makes it really simple to line it up. And then I'm just going to ink it up with some black ink. And then basically I'm using the ruler as my acrylic block. Now our acrylic blocks do have a line across the bottom of them, but I just find with these kind of delicate stamp sets, this graph ruler actually allows me to also have the images straight up and down, not just across the bottom. So I finished the majority of Collector off camera, and again, there is my title. I'm really happy with it, and then my journaling will reflect such as well, and I'll add that here in just a second. So I'm going to put this stamp set up, and then I'm going to start working on some black chipboard pieces that came with the Craft On collection that I'm using. And there are a few hearts, and then of course that big open heart. And I'm just loving the pops of black. In the original collection, there was a lot of black. So you can see that black pattern paper with those bright flowers, and then of course that gingham strip that I already used. And so I'm loving adding this black chipboard, and I'm just adhering it down to my page using liquid glass. Any liquid adhesive would work, of course. And I'm going to finish off this open heart. Now, I did put it over to the left simply because it was the only one, and that little flower cluster over to the left was the smallest one, so I felt like it needed a large accent to kind of balance that large flower at the top. Now, the Craft On collection also came with these cute little rubber shapes. And so there are some flower shapes, there's a heart, there are some sentiments, but the sentiments really don't work with this layout. So I am just trying to gather up all of those little daisies in that raspberry color. And then that heart's going to go on that focal piece. And then I end up not using that crystal blue little rubber shape. Now, the best method for me to adhere these rubber shapes to my layout is using glue dots. Now, I'm using the micro glue dots. These are by far my favorite because they're super tiny. Anything larger than this, I really can use liquid adhesive or even tape adhesive, but I love these little micro glue dots. They're perfect for these little bitty small embellishments. So same thing with that open heart. I'm going to get it glued down on that little focal piece over on the right. And then that's pretty much it. I am going to bring in that black shimmer brush and add some shimmer to the center of those flowers. And then also go ahead and add black shimmer to those chipboard pieces. You won't be able to see it in the video, but at the still shots at the end, I'll try to show you just what that shimmer adds to this layout. And of course, a layout about stamps, like I said, should have a little shimmer and shine to it. Now, I really love this little book or this little notebook, but I just can't find a place for it. So I am going to get ready to do my journaling. I'm going to use my Heidi Swap, I believe, date stamp and go ahead and stamp that off on that raspberry zip strip. You can barely see it, but you can see it enough in person. And then I'm going to pull out the sticker sheet that came with this collection. There are some tiny little flowers. There's a white daisy that I'm going to use over here on the left. And then another little pink flower. And then there are the cutest little yellow circles with raspberry hearts in the center. This is the little piece that I'm going to journal on. This layout doesn't require a whole lot of journaling, so I loved that the sticker sheet had that little notebook paper on it. And these are those little yellow circles that I was talking about with the raspberry hearts. So I'm going to bring out my paper piercer here in a second, try to get that one straight up at the top. And then I'm going to pull off another one from the sticker sheet and try to decide where it goes. I end up liking it right there on that little journaling little notebook piece, and that's where that's going to stay. And then off camera, I am going to add my journaling. And I just used a black journaling pen to do that. Like I said, it doesn't take a whole lot. Here's a look at the layout. You can kind of see the shimmer from this angle, but I'm hoping that the still shots here in just a second will allow you to see it a little bit more. And like I said, a layout like this about my stamp collection definitely deserves some shimmer. So don't forget that I will add links down below to all the products that I used, as well as links to the other ladies who are playing along. And don't forget there will be a link to Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches Facebook group, so you can head on over there and take a look at the sketches and play along. And then also don't forget that the creative design team is going to have 31 days of Christmas cards starting in October. Right now there's early bird pricing of $31. That's a savings of $18, but that price will go up September 20th. So you want to go ahead and click on the registration link in the description below and get registered at that early bird price. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. If you liked what you saw, hit that subscribe button and sign up for notifications. And consider leaving a thumbs up and a comment.